Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm really excited to be here. I am Sivan Pliskov, and I am your host for tonight. We're going to talk about many things. We're going to talk about a very no-fluff go-to-market, all right? Today is about practical go-to-market decisions. And what is it that we need to consider before we start to scale? So it's not going to be hype, or it's not like build it and they will come. It's not about scaling before you're ready. All right, so what are the aspects that we need to consider as we go through that? And we're going to be focusing on the mechanics of moving from first customers to repeatable growth. Because traction is not the same as repeatability. Because, it could be very, you're very excited, you get the first few customers perhaps, or those who are interested on pilot land, you don't want to get stuck in that. But then how do you actually create repeatable growth? And especially in AI, excitement is easy, but predictability is rare. So let's understand who's in the room before it's about me. So I'm in the room. Sivan, taking care of business. That's my TCB partners. And if you know a little bit about either Elvis or Kramer from Seinfeld, that's how I got the name, TCB, taking care of business. I got about 20 years of experience in corporate, and I done corporate strategy, business development, go-to-market, and sales. I done it across, as you can tell, US as well as EMEA. My expertise more lies around sustainability, data platforms, ESG, net zero, and that sort of things. And I've done it across multiple sectors. So I am very happy and excited always to parachute into different sectors, understand the pain points of the customers, and find what is the right language to reach out to them. What is upward and forward? What do I do now? So right now I'm an advisor. I'm a strategic advisor to startups. I'm a mentor at Google for Startups that I just mentioned. And the kind of things I work on is really anything under the sun that might be of interest to startups and to founders, because it could be quite a lonely place to be there at the top. And it's about stress testing pricing strategy, and it might be about redefining USP. I love talking about ICPs, and there are a lot of any sort of, words that we're not sure about. But there's so many things to be done and to talk and to challenge, and I love that sort of parachuting. I'm also a founder, so I understand and I feel. Still stealth mode, but you'll hear more about it. So, today, now guys, I have a beg/ask of you. Please, this is going to be interactive. I'm not just going to talk or fall down for about an hour. I'm going to have questions. Please raise, please share. If you feel comfortable, let's challenge, let's talk, let's open this up. So that will be interesting. And actually, you can maybe take something with you as you go home tonight. So let's do a bit of an audience pulse. Hands up, which stage are you in your perhaps startup or journey? Are you more of an idea? All right. No, nobody has ideas. Great. Early revenue? People making money? Well done. Well done. Scaling? Excellent. All right. Business model. Are we, who has B2B? All right. Most of the, all right, great, because that's what I know most. B2C? Great. Who has AI as part of their solution? Fantastic. I also know one or two things about that. And who's perhaps creating a marketplace? Thank you. Right. Third thing, what is your current go-to-market motion? Are you more founder-led? Are you the founder that does all the sales? Both. All right. Are we product-led? You're everything. All right, we're gonna talk. You're going through partnerships, or yeah, there you go. Or you're just not sure, and that's okay too. No one's not sure, that's correct. So, we've done the hands up, so that's fantastic. So, most successful startups, as you just sort of mentioned there, use a combination of things throughout their journey. The typical evolution is founder-led would be first, because that's when you learn about your ICP, your customer, and what is your messaging. Then you get more product-led because you want to scale your adoption. And then the ecosystem, marketplace, partnership-led to compound the distribution. So let's start with a really interesting part first. Understand the issue. Why are we here tonight? So there are 3 types of, well, we can start with go-to-market frictions. Now, almost every answer that we've had before fits into these 3 categories. First, trust friction. Buyers don't really believe in you, not just yet. You know, the demo goes well, the deal stalls, that's trust. So how can we fix that? We do that with proof, with case studies, and with pilots. So you could secure partners, you create one measurable case study. If you can just start with one and then you can, that's your go-to when you go to a customer, when you're trying to reach out. You've tried it, you have one case study, go with it. And then is offer pilots, but with really defined KPIs, and that in itself is, we can have an entire workshop on that, is how to not get stuck in pilot land. We feel so hard, so bad, we want to get those pilots in, we want to get those customers in, and we do it for free. Why? For how long? How is that a business? You cannot create a business like that. So Monzo, they didn't fight that trust friction with ads, for example, right? They built radical transparency. Trust was engineered, it wasn't assumed. And in AI, as we spoke a bit before with some of you, AI in itself already brings about trust issue. I mean, it's not a person. So yes, it is efficient, but how much does it know of me? I mean, who's checking that everything that it says or does is okay? There's a whole amplification of trust when you're talking about AI. So can we really count on it? Also, are you here to stay when you're a startup? Why should I move all my platforms to you? Why should I use your product over others, your solution over others? I mean, I don't know if you're going to stay here in a year, 2, 3 years. And it takes time. It's pain. It's not just money. It's also pain and time to get that through. The second part is value clarity friction. Simply when your buyers don't understand your return on investment. And if the pain is not immediate, it is not prioritized. Forget nice to have. That pain has to be a must-have. That pain is not a year from now. You know what? Every customer I speak to will always complain about the same 3 things. They don't have enough time, they don't have enough people, they don't have enough money. All right, put that aside. That's not a pain because it's everyone's pain and it's not going to go away. What keeps them up at night? What is their KPI, their indicators, their success factors that need to take place in 3 months or this year? What are their goals so that you can help them? You position yourself, your solution, your service, your product as helping them get to that goal. And then it's immediate, and then it's painful, and then it's a must-have. It's not just nice to have. No one's going to pay for nice to have. The market is too saturated now. So how can we fix that? With measurable outcomes. You want to quantify outcomes in numbers. You want to reposition a compelling use case and make sure that it's adapted to the person in front of you. You want to run maybe 20 problem interviews, as many interviews as possible. Knowledge, insight, that's your intelligence. That's how you move forward. And you really want to test again and again, sharper your messaging. How can somebody remember you? What are maybe 3 words? Keep it right now, after all, 20 years of internet and so on, we are inundated with data, we are inundated with information. So many people around us, we really want to make sure that we get through that noise, and there's a lot of noise out there. So for example, Citymapper, they didn't sell maps. There were plenty of maps. They sold stress-free commuting. All right, so they got that friction out of the way. That was their value. The third is access friction. You can't reach your ideal buyer. Maybe you don't have the direct, you don't have the trust, you don't have the access really, and you cannot consistently reach your buyer. Now in B2B, most of you are in B2B, you need 3 entry points. You need the one that pays, that would be the payer, the budget authority. You need the user, and that's the workflow owner, the one that will understand how your solution or service or product gonna make their life amazing. And you need also the champion, the one that believes in you, the founder, and will be able to take you through the budget person and to the user and put that all together, that magic. If you don't have if you don't have all those 3, then you're not going to be able to get through. If you only have one, the deal will consistently stall. So how do we fix that? We fix that with partnerships or outbound. You really want to narrow your ideal customer profile. You want to switch to founder-led sales because you know your customers best. You need to hear everything they say, all their problems, all their pushbacks, all their ideas, everything, because then you pivot and you make sure that your message aligns to what they need to hear in order to come on board. You want to identify all your integration partners and test at least one channel at a time. Don't do many at the same time because then you won't understand necessarily or very clearly which one is the right one to choose. So the example there is Go Cardless. Go Cardless, they solve the access friction by integrating into existing workflows, into other accounting platforms. You didn't need to see them. So their partners already had the access to their customers. They already had the trust. They were embedded. And that made your scaling opportunity much faster and greater. So, in one word, which of these friction points are stopping your users, buying your products today? Any hands up? No friction at all? Everybody's making so much money. Can you buy me dinner?
Trust friction.
Trust. Why?
Well, it's unproven yet. I guess it's all just a theoretical idea of what value we can provide at the moment. So the design partner is going through that process and working out whether we can actually provide that value or not.
Mm-hmm. And are you working with a partner?
Yeah, we've got one partner, working on another one at the moment, but yeah.
Okay.
Potentially 2.
Potentially, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know, but my buyers are believing me now. They're buying subscriptions. I talk to them, they buy a subscription and say, wow, fantastic, let's go ahead. That's taken 4 years to get to that point. And what I'm actually doing is a lot of extra legwork in order to deliver huge value for not very much money. And then when it comes through, what that means is that my platform can grow because I can start to spend on it. But actually trying to get, it's like climbing up on a mountain face. You've got to find that particular walk route, all the different things, particular things which they're not aware of, and then it can happen, but it's not easy.
Yeah, so right now you have lower friction in order to get your customers, to get the data points, to build the customer base. Now it's how can we increase the value per share?
I mean, I've got a platform, it's a B2B platform, the entire tech landscape. And so my customers are huge, and my customers on both sides. They're the vendors who pay, and then there are the people who need to find the best vendors.
Okay.
Use it for free. So it's like a hugely ridiculously ambitious thing to try and achieve. But I'm getting there, so it's great.
Amazing, so you're doing it. So you're going for, so what's your 80-20 in terms of, are you going for really big customers, large corporations, or would be your 20?
That's me. So I'm just, I mean, for example, an accountant rang me up to sell me an accounting service. Mine's a tech platform. I said, right, okay, but I'm doing this at the moment in terms of delivering leads and everything else. Are you interested? I had a call them. They said, yeah, I'll subscribe. This is an accounting firm. I'm dealing with tech firms, and yet they still bought from me. So, kind of thinking, well, maybe I've got, kind of off the races after all. But it's, it's all about the narrative. It's
Yes.
all about how you sell it. It's about transparency. It's about really delivering amazing stuff and people need to understand how amazing what it is that you're delivering is.
Yeah.
And also then you need to do extra legwork, and if you do all of that, then it will work. But the trust friction, if I went to a trade show 4 years ago and had a flea in my ear most of the time, I go now, I know how to engage with them, and always I get a good result. And that is also how you deliver what you do. You explain what you do in the right way, which will resonate, and at the end of it they have to say, wow, that's amazing. And if you nail that narrative, then you're doing the right thing. But the response should be at least, wow, that's amazing, or at most, that's amazing, or at the least, that is interesting.
Okay, well that sounds like you're clearly the founder, because you feel passionate about it, you know everything about your product, and sounds like you've been talking to many, many customers over the years and you really understand them. And you understand the narrative and you understand the angles and the aspects that really matters to them. At what point have you already brought on board other people that would be...
I mean, the thing is, it's money. I've bootstrapped it, so I don't have the money. And the thing is, when you want to get the money, you need to show the revenue, and I'm just on the beginning of that early revenue stage. And the thing is, you don't want to get people involved too early, but also VCs aren't interested until they actually almost see the numbers, unless you are a fantastic narrative salesman, and also you have a truly brilliant idea. But I'm thinking the B2B tech vendor landscape, hardly exciting. You know?
I think that's one of the biggest challenges, right, of every founder. At some point, you're taking too much on you, and then what happens, right? I mean, how much, you can't be across the entire business doing everything and then getting sales. You do have to.
You have to, until you've actually got the money in one way or another to employ other people.
Have you noticed whether the friction is happening for those who already have a tangible service or product? Have you noticed whether the friction is happening before or after the demo? Is it, we're not sure, we don't know you, it sounds too expensive, how much is this, or is it after? Any other thoughts, any other experiences? Yes, sir.
It's before the demo for what we're doing, because we are heading into category defining territory, and so most people think they want a faster horse. And it's quite a challenge to persuade them that that isn't the case. And yes, a demo works, but in a particular sector, and then you have to move to a different sector where you don't have a demo, and that's where the ICP friction comes in.
All right, I love that, because I think we're going to talk about it just now. That at the end of the day, there are two ways to go about it, right? When you start a business, you can go all in and you just run and you hope that one of the hours is going to hit something. It works for some. I'm too strategic for that. There is no way that's going to work for me. The way that I work is like I do research. Remember that we're on video. I do research and I really go for that ICP. So, because I always feel like the more work I do, the more research I do, the more targeted I am, it amplifies the result. And we're going to talk about that. Thanks for sharing. All right. Here you go. So, early traction is addictive, right? You close the 5 deals, investors might be excited, and pipeline feels alive. But traction is not repeatability, as we said before. So here's the distinction. Product market fit means it's the right product for the right market, the right audience, versus go-to-market fit, which is the right product delivered through a repeatable channel with predictable conversion. So GTM, go-to-market, often fails when founders either expand geography before density, with you, add segments before mastery, and hire sales before repeatability. Plus, if we're still in EMEA, and that adds a lot more because you have fragmented regulation, you have different languages, different trust systems, different cultures within a country, all that again. So you cannot really, it's not cut and paste from one country to another, or even from one region to another. So early focus must be either geographic, or vertical, not both. Going back to that trust, going back to that ICP, build yourselves in that vertical. Fortunately, founders normally think horizontally, but the market thinks vertically. Get your name out there, have that sort of, the name, the brand, the recognition, have it in one, and then go to others. So you should dominate one persona. Who's your ICP? I mean, very specifically, who's likely to buy from you? One use case. What's going to be like your best use case? What's like, you take it to market. It's a done deal. It's easy. Everybody needs that. And one acquisition path. How are you going to arrive there? How are you going to acquire your customer? Deliveroo, early adoption, as we spoke, came from dense urban areas. So they scaled their growth. Their scalable growth required supply density and logistics excellence. So it had to be very specific because not all cities, regions could supply them with that. That's a product market fit. Go to market fit, we have Gymshark, which really used an early influencer traction. It was very powerful, but their actual repeatable growth came from structured community-led distribution. They went for people who are absolutely passionate about gyms. Those who actually go to the gym and not just subscribe and don't go like me. So you're not really ready to scale until your closing rate improves without any heroics. And remember, we're looking for repeatability. Knowing somebody that could open like in a warm contact, that's nice, but unless they can do it over 1,000, okay, that's 100, then that's not going to happen. That's not going to be repeatable. All right, so we're not executing go-to-market early. We are discovering it, all right? Learning speed is your growth speed. You need to discover the market through high-speed validation. You start with hypothesis, and then customers validate or reject them. Talk to them. And the speed in which you learn would impact the speed of your growth, right? So particularly around AI-specific experiments, who is trusting the output? What outcome actually matters? And what triggers adoption? So these are the questions you must answer before you can actually scale. All right, think about it. What is, for each of you, what is your one-sentence pitch? We help one persona to a certain outcome using this type of technology. I'll give you an example. I'll make it easy because I know not everybody ate. So B2B, we help logistics managers reduce fuel waste by 15% using AI-powered route optimization. B2C, we help busy parents reduce weekly meal planning time by 70% using AI-generated shopping lists and recipes. Okay? I'm going to pause for a minute. If you can think about it, what is yours? And please share. All right. He'll give you time to think. Yes?
We help technology buyers understand immediately who does what, how they do it differently and better in a complex vendor landscape in order that they don't miss out on discovering options they otherwise wouldn't know about.
Specific it, I have no idea what you're selling. In which, I don't know, in which tech buyers, in which companies?
Well, it's a platform.
Okay.
It's a flexible taxonomy.
Okay.
There's 1,500 companies on there. 800 have created their own profiles. I already have subscribers. It's a real thing. And what it helps do is it helps technology buyers, because it's a really complex landscape, immediately understand who does what, because it's not always easy. You might look for a technology service vendor like a penetration tester. You'll never get a strong list of them.
Who does what where? Sorry that I'm cutting. Who does what where? Within their company? Within which, like, is it in a specific department? Is it across departments?
Just to kind of wind it back a bit, I've been in technology delivery for 30 years. A key part of it is to find the best vendors for the particular tech solution which needs to be part of a large global implementation program. And it doesn't matter whether it's in cybersecurity or IT managed services or whatever, it's complex and you'll never get a good list. You can go to Gartner for us, you can go to G2 Captel, you can go to all these different platforms. No vendor can afford to be everywhere. No buyer can actually be everywhere. So there's an information gap. And what my platform does is fill that information gap. But what it does is it enables a technology services buyer to immediately understand what a company does, because if you look at a website, you can never do that.
What a potential vendor sells. What can, okay.
And that way, you can quickly navigate through a large number of vendors and actually identify ones which will be the best fit for their needs.
Okay. Well, that's great. I will just say that, I mean, you did mention immediately. Certainly there's a certain, if you could...
I mean, the thing is that basically you've got the one sentence pitch. You've got the 30-second pitch. Now, the one sentence pitch, if you're trying to explain something which is really complex and nuanced, is challenging.
So maybe that goes back to a use case or a certain persona or a certain vertical.
Yeah, but it's...
I know you're speaking with maybe 1,000 different ones, but then you would adapt to the person you're talking to.
So I'm very happy that my current one doesn't work, and I'll have a better one. But the thing is, my 30-second pitch works really well. Yeah?
Okay, so you need 30 seconds. Okay.
No, but do you want me to do it?
Perhaps, can we just keep that?
We're doing the 5-second one. Give other people a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Who else? All right, you're looking at me. You're gonna get the floor. Yep. Blink twice. You, with a white jacket, you can do the, yes. No, we're talking about talent, right, I remember.
Yeah, so look, we essentially help small and medium enterprises with talent acquisition solutions as a form of partner function on an embedded subscription-based model. We utilise AI tools as well to help make their process more efficient as well.
Okay. In any particular sector, vertical?
No, we're open to working with all, because the consultant place would be bespoke to what you'd be looking for as well.
Okay. So I think this is where also, again, I mean, there's all sorts of consultancies in all sectors, right? Can we try to be the number one in one of them and then go and conquer the world?
I think so, yeah. My preference is always technology, but because of the model, we can for customer demands, it's a different industry.
Yeah. The outcome, it didn't sound quantified. Just an idea. I mean, it'd be faster, cheaper, better, any sort of percentage that can go there will always be really powerful. Yes, please.
I have a question about that, because I think most of us are sort of early revenue. How did you sort of claim that quantifiable results if it's based on a handful of customers?
Your use case, your first pilot before you went to market?
So it could be based on one customer?
Yes. It could be, I mean, you start small. You based on our first pilot, then it's 5 customers, then it's 10 customers, and then you can also say a range. We help buildings reduce their energy consumption by 15 to 40%. Depends how old the building, depends how big is the building, depends who's running it, for how long, for what purpose. But I think that you can start with, I mean, you started with an idea. What was it for? What was your vision? What was your mission? How did you want to get there? So you started somewhere even with, customer A, citizen X. What came out of that? And then you build around that. Anyone feels differently or would like to add to that? I'm right, no kidding. No, but thank you for that question. Did that answer? All right, thank you. Paul.
We help people shop smarter using AI-powered analytics in the grocery and retail sector.
Shop smarter, how? What's the outcome?
Behavioral nudge. So nudging you towards products that you didn't even know existed.
What does it give them? What's the outcome? Are they living?
Cheaper, more cost effective.
Is it cheaper?
Yeah,
Okay.
more cost effective, access to
Again,
foods that align to your personal health goals.
Okay. I think this is also something I see a lot in sales, that we often talk about the features of our product and solution, not what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Forget the features. Why should the customer buy from you? What does it give them? Thank you for sharing with that. Oh, and this is one of my favorite bits. That it's about the language. Oh, critical point, painful as it is. You're not refining one message. You're translating value per stakeholder. And you're going to change your language and your narrative and the message per the person in front of you. CFO, numbers. What are the outcomes? Quantified return on investment. What are the margins? What's the payback? How long? CTO, how painful the integration is going to get, right? How long is it going to take? What about the security of your platform? What are the deployment risks? End user, how much time you save them? How much frustration have you removed from them? Is it cheaper? And if you've talked to sustainability, you want to measure your ESG impact. See you, Marina. But before the outreach, you want to research. When you talk to them, when you're about, ahead of any meeting, I do my homework. Who is this person? Where do they post? What do they post about? What matters to them? What are they proud of? What do they talk about? Is it cost savings? Do they talk about innovation? Are they very proud of their team? The more you know the people in front of you, the better you can then adapt your narrative, adapt your message, adapt your tone, adapt the words you're using, adapt the culture. The closer we are to them, the more relatable they feel to us. And ask, and this is the most important thing, I'm going back, what KPI defines your buyer's success this year? Because that's your goal, and you want to position yourself, I'm going to support you with my solution, service, product to reach your goal. You can't do it without me. So, if we don't know that, we're guessing. Really important to ask ourselves that.
Well, sorry, on that one. What if they haven't really got that already in place? So if they, for instance, my tools in compliance, and I know sometimes these medium-sized organisations don't always have KPIs that they look to try and aim toward. Like you end in terms of reducing the number of access requests they get, or the number of risk assessment, the time it takes to do a risk assessment. They haven't got it quantified exactly. So how would you then help them go aim towards a goal that they quantify themselves?
If you need to educate them, they're not your ICP. Because the conversion is just going to take so much longer.
But, interestingly, sometimes if you have a new product, no ICP is going to know about it. So you have to educate them about it. That's the whole point of progress. If you've got new products, they don't know about it, you need to educate them, then they can get the return.
Yeah, but the new product must answer a pain.
Yes.
Right? That's why you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
So you go back to the pain. It might be that over time, once you have some numbers in place and what we've done, then you say, okay, you don't know that's what you need. I'll educate you. I'll help you get there. You know that that's maybe a goal, but you're not sure how to get there. I'll help you. I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to be your ally in the company. I'm going to create with you and for you your internal case study so that you can, together we can go to the budget owner, get the money. We can go to the end user and say this will make your life so much better, more efficient, faster, so on and so forth. But it comes back to, you came up with the idea because there was something in the market that was missing. There was a pain. The real question, the painful question is, for you as a founder, is this something, they're great ideas, but is this something someone is going to pay for it? And I think that's the key. So find the one that's going to be the early adopter, create the case with them, for them, and then you can spin it through. Thank you. Right. Oh my gosh, it's already 7:30. How long do I have? People, we're only on slide 6. All right. Is it me or you? All right, let's see. Let's dig deeper. Do we want to dig deeper? Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's dig deeper. Oh, I love that. Oh, well, we kind of done that. So maybe we'll go a bit quicker on this. Okay. So, this one of my favorites. If we remove the buzzword AI from your pitch, is it still standing? Right? Because if not, you're just selling technology, you're not selling transformation. You're not trying to transform the market. So bad messaging hides behind technology, kind of like salt in your food. All right? The more they put in, that restaurant is not great. So good messaging sells measurable change. So, example. Oh, we talked about it before. So before I said, okay, we're going to help parents. I'm a parent. I'm spending way too much in the kitchen for the health of my children. Do they care for it? No. Are they thankful? No, but that's another workshop. However, we help parents cut weekly meal planning by 3 hours and 30 to 30 minutes with personalized recipes and shopping lists. We didn't say that we're using an AI meal assistant. It still stands. The core stands, the idea stands, and the support, the value of the product stands. So consumers, they buy convenience. They don't buy models. Again, go back to not features. What is it going to give them? How is it going to help them? All right, I'm going to go fast. All right, just an example. So Wise, they had a very clear message. They didn't say we are a global financial infrastructure. They said we're cheap money transfers. Monzo, it was about instant clarity. We're not trying to transform the banking industry. Very simple, very short, very outcome. Me. Right, let's move to the next one. Right, so what are the 3 decisions you must make? Now, your go-to-market will only really become repeatable when these 3 happen, and they're fixed. First, who is your first real buyer? Right, the one that feels the problem urgently, has authority or influence. Oh my God, sustainability people, they love your product, your service, your solution. They have no money. The money stands with the CFO or the CTO. And they can decide to adopt your solution shortly. And this is really important because you can start, if your conversion, especially at a startup, if it's longer than 60 days, 90 days, you can't afford it. It's too much enterprisey for you. You got to go smaller because you have to have, the cycle has to be shorter in the beginning. So the decision criteria for first real buyer, budget owner, acute pain, and accessible channel. How are you going to get there? How long is it going to take you? The outcome you sell. Outcome must be measurable, time-bound, and financially relevant. Numbers. Make them feel it. They need it. Examples for AI or anything else: reduce processing time by X%. Increase conversion by X%. Eliminate any manual workflow, not overflow. Edit. And the last thing is primary acquisition motion. So the repeatable channel through which you're going to actually reach and discuss. And you have to choose one early on. And many of you, and I've spoken to you, have multiple business models. You can either do founder, product-led, or partner-led. Because again, if you try all of them at the same time, you're going to run really thin. Now, you're really going to want to be doing that because you're throwing your arrows everywhere. However, you need to give them each, let's say, a channel, like any channel, a month. Give it a month. See what you're getting back. And then whether you pivot or not. Yes?
On the outcome you sell, you talked about risk reduction, but we're also looking at what the value is to the customer. For example, yes, they'll get faster, but they'll get more monetary value, whereas in some way, right, they'll be able to make a decision faster. How do you position, which one should you position? Should you position both, or should you position the risk reduction or the time saving versus the cost saving? What's better?
Great question. What is the pain?
So we work with M&A analysts
Okay.
to reduce the time it takes to make a deal decision by repeatable workflows.
All right, and time equals money.
And time equals money. Okay, so do I talk about, like, how do I talk about time equals money then? I mean, they're going from 3 to 5 days to 3 to 5 hours.
Okay.
So
That's huge. That's numbers, that's percentage. And that also depends on who you're talking to again, right? Because you won't have, like even when you take your messaging to market, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's any of the platforms that we're going to talk about, you're going to change.
Right.
You're going to adapt it to your audience. So it depends. I mean, to the one who's your end user, you might say, oh, your time. I mean, you can do that. You can work on multiple acquisitions or M&As at the same deals at the same time, or you can get it done faster. That's probably more it. The one that is perhaps the director or the owner, they want to see the money.
Yeah, that's, I think, exactly right, because the buyer is thinking about, obviously, ROI. And they're saying, well, your price point is X within the competitor market. And they compare this, of course. And then they're saying, okay, well, if I'm going to bring in 3 of my team, it'll cost me Y. But then I don't know how to articulate that piece. Do you get what I mean? Right?
I definitely get what you mean, and I love that kind of challenge. And there is a way to go about it, absolutely. And also, you can have 2 really good values and 2 really good outcomes that you can play with. You know, you don't only have like one pager. I have one that is, again, depends on which of the 3 personas in the company I'm talking to. I will change that. But there can definitely be a positioning. I mean, that's, again, money and time, wonderful outcomes. Play on both, depends on the thing. Thank you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's get to, oh, this is important. All right. What I like about Monzo is that they won the tribe first. And what do I mean by tribe? I mean by, and I'm going to read this, digitally native UK millennials frustrated with legacy banks. People active in forums, comfortable with app-first finance, and excited to co-create the future of banking. So they won the tribe first. They had a very targeted ICP. And then they conquered. So how do we define your tribe? Right, so this is the system that turns early love into scalable evidence. Your first 50 customers, they're not revenue, they're data, they're intelligence. If you treat them like revenue, you're going to waste them. If you treat them like intelligence, you're going to build the advantage. And for AI startups, you want to work with one painful flow, not a broad capacity claim. So, narrow ICP. I'm calling it the desperation index. All right? Strong ICP signals. Are they, what's their urgent need? What workaround exists already? What budget is allocated? And is the decision speed less than 30 days? This is your ICP in the beginning. You want to be able to have a direct outreach or targeted acquisition. If I give you a list of 100 dream customers, I want you to have at least 20 meaningful conversations, 5 pilots, 3 paying customers. Now, by the way, paying, and again, this is another workshop, even if it's just your cost, even if it's just £100, get on their suppliers list, because it takes away any sort of problem later on. All right, that's even if it's like a pound. You have no idea how much it takes away once you want to get them on as a customer. All right, let's break it down. B2B. You have a manual outbound plus founder demos. You get case studies. Then you want to dominate your vertical. How does that look at B2C? You have a niche community. You're going to be obsessive about how you're going to have the retention. And then you're going to have referral loops. Keep coming back to it. And again, if you're an AI, you have that credibility barrier, as we spoke to. You have a double credibility barrier as an AI and as a startup. So you might want to go with a design partner that would have that credibility, that brand, that access to customers, and you're just tag along. That's how you build it. And, very important, that they're willing for you to use them and their customers and the logos and all that. Otherwise, it's too silent. So City Mapper, as we said, it dominated one city before it expanded. And it saw daily commuter dependence. And then they knew they got them. They had their retention. Now we can go to other cities. And that was love. All right, one word really quickly. Who is the one dream customer that you want to have? Come on, it's easy. That's why we're all here. What is your dream? Who's your dream customer?
It's actually me. It's coming from my pain point. I want to build a business for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the tools. Now I'm trying to build something for aspiring founders, like first-time founders or this kind of cohort to establish their business more structured way.
Anyone, I mean, anything specific or any first-time founder in any vertical, any?
Designed for multiple business types. And I have another I found another company with my partner, which is in maybe textiles, and it's full of ambiguity. And it's been 2.5 years, and we haven't sold anything yet. We haven't produced anything yet.
Yeah.
But we finally gave the order of production, which is critical for us because we're aiming to be a premium brand, and we try to find the perfect producer.
Mm-hmm.
And living with ambiguity and like trying to do the launch plans, I needed this support from the software I'm developing right now. That's why.
So that's love. Anyone else that would like to? Who is your dream customer? Marina.
Well, we have multiple revenue models, so I'll go with one. So one would be an international development bank that works in infrastructure in emerging markets.
Specific, I love that. All right, Marta.
So it's an idea I haven't started working on yet. But
You notice I know everybody's names in the first row.
okay, so that would be...
To choose my victims.
Yes, so I'm Polish, and I have been thinking about working with young, ambitious students from Poland to help them find the right place for them to move to and actually help them settle down there. So there will be people already with the dream that they have and resources as well, but sort of lack of idea of what to choose because they're usually overwhelmed.
Great. I love that. Thank you for that. All right, so why aren't you targeting them already?
I haven't started working on the business yet.
All right, well, you have this idea and you have the ICP. I love that. All right, excellent. All right, that's an extra one, so we'll just... do you want to take a picture of that? Oh, man, so good. Oh, no, that's not one. Wait. This one. All right, how to pressure test your ICP. We talked about it, guys. Pain, who has the budget? How short is the cycle? Got to go for that. And clear ROI. For goodness sake, please, clear ROI. If it's not clear to them what they get out of it, they're not going to buy you. Damn, I'm fast. All right. See, I'm really focusing on listening right there. Perhaps half asleep, but nobody knows. Wedge strategy. All right, this is what I like, what I said. Dominate one segment and then expand. Narrow the market first. Become the default solution. and then expand once it's repeatable. Then you can do cut paste. But build your reputation, build your credibility, build your brand in one. And everybody has FOMO. Once you get one, they all want a piece of you. And then they have the entire vertical, because it's a fantastic world, and then you can go to other verticals as well. But start with one, own it. All right. Da-da-da. All right, oh, this is good. Also the others are good, just to say. All right, where does your buyer actually live? This is really important, guys. We talked about like we have different language, different angles, different words, right? What are we selling them? However, where are we finding them? Make sure that you finding your customers. Be obsessive about your customers. Where are you finding them? On which platforms? B2B, LinkedIn, for example. There's some people who still read newsletters, I promise. Conferences, I love conferences. You know why? Conferences are like the best intelligence work out there. I go to conference not to sell anything. I talk to everyone. Because then I gather all the intelligence that I need. What is the pain? What has worked? What hasn't worked? Intelligence about competitors. Get the intelligence. And then it's a breadth of just a world of intelligence for you to build on and to use it. I mean, what I know, like when, as a salesperson, when I go to a customer, what I'm missing if it's just early days, I don't have the examples. I don't have the pains of other customers. I don't know yet, like, I don't have the, you know, the relatability, if you wish. They need to feel that. The more ammunition you have in your pocket, the better your pitch is. B2C, all these wonderful social media that I'm not on, but do watch this YouTube. Thank you very much. Find them, influencer communities, find them, right? It's completely different aspects and places. I told you about these guys. Ooh, and also ask your first-string customers, where did you first hear about solution like ours? Not even us, but solution like ours, right? And test one channel at a time, not all of them, because then you don't know where they're coming from. All right. Real people, my fellow mentors. I loved it. So the fun part. So we talked about that. Now we're ready to sell, but how do we build trust with our ICP? Trust before scale. So adoption equals value times trust. AI reduces that initially, as we said. So it requires proof-based go-to-market. Have one. Have that. Work really hard to have that one. And then percentage-wise, I don't know that it's only one customer, but that's you starting with something. So early sales must be founder-led, as we said before, because you learn the fastest, you hear real objections, and you define repeatability. And after you've defined your ICP, by the first 50 customers, you should know who they buy, why they hesitate, who influences them, what triggers that urgency. And after 20, 30 conversations, objections should repeat, use cases should repeat, pricing resistant patterns should repeat. So you understand who you're dealing with and what do you need to buy as a narrative in order to get beyond those. If every deal is different, you're lacking focus. And if every customer uses your AI differently, your positioning is too broad. And there were a few cases like that. It's hard in the beginning to conquer the world all at once. All right, I'm gonna run with this. All right, early stage go-to-market is rarely around building distribution from scratch. You have to tag along to someone. So what is the design partner criteria that you want to take into consideration to reduce those trust barriers and to accelerate adoption? You want to have somebody with a visible brand, real use case, and make sure they can co-create with them like 3 to 5 North Star customers. Fast feedback cycle, so you can pivot, sell the outcomes, not the feature list. And willingness to reference publicly. I mentioned that before, right? You need to be able to convert. They have to help you and support you convert the early users into proof points for the next 50. So partnership value equals access, trust, and distribution, right? They can help you generate the pipeline, reduce your customer acquisition costs, increase the trust, and have more speedy distribution. So the best early partners already know your ICP, they already sell to them, they're already trusted amongst them, and they have a complementary workflow. Now, early partnership success signal is that if your partner-sourced pipeline is greater than 20% of all your opportunities, 80-20 rule, love that. And many startups actually scale through partners before even they do any marketing, because that's how you build your brand, that's how you build your customer cases. We didn't speak about go-cardless. Well, a little bit. They scale by embedding inside other software platforms. I did mention that. So adoption happened through existing workflows rather than direct acquisition. Wise expanded distribution by partnering with platforms that already serve its target customers. So they reduce the need for direct acquisition. And Deliveroo showed you how marketplaces create distribution by aggregating supply and demand in one trusted platform. So marketplaces reduce adoption friction by centralizing the discovering plus the trust. Ooh. All right, quickly. Which partners have you considered until now, and who would be your dream partner? Yes.
We've partnered with Pittsburgh and we're partnering with Crunchbase.
Great. Anyone else? Dream partners. I don't know all your names, but I will call upon you depending on what you wear. All right, pink shirt. That's you. Yeah? Sorry.
So, a dream partner would potentially be a large organisation like a telecoms or a bank.
Okay, until you reach that, because that might take you 18 months.
Yeah, we've already done that. So.
Ah, congratulations, well done.
But it's repeated it now.
Oh. All right, so you got to the one vertical, you got the one client, and now everybody has FOMO, they're coming to you. Or it's easier to open the doors.
Yeah.
Ah, well done. All right, just because of time, and I see everybody's either tired or hungry or both. Have we got, oh wait. All right, quickly, what not to do? Oh, I love that. We learn from the do's as well as the don'ts, ladies and gentlemen. High impact warnings founders should remember. Scaling channels before messaging works. Hiring sales before repeatability. Expanding geography too early. Confusing pilots with traction, especially those that don't pay you. Building brand before proof. And ignoring distribution advantage. So, which ones would you like me to tell you? Let's choose one. All right, Blipper. Anybody knows Blipper? I didn't. They had the best AR tech in Europe. They had users, millions of people playing with their app. But they did not have a buyer with a recurring problem. It was a nice to have, it was a cool to have, it was expensive to have. So they lived on marketing stunts. Not good. Power technologies. There is a temptation to hire big shot salespeople from a tech giant like Google or somebody else or Salesforce, but look at them. They hired hundreds of sales staff before they had a repeatable product. What are you going to sell? As a salesperson, and I'm probably the worst, because I actually talk to our engineers. I talk to the people who serve the client. I'm like, can we do it? How fast? When? Because otherwise my name is on the line, the name of the company is on the line, and if I take one wrong move, I'm dead. So some people are really good at it. I won't say otherwise, but it's really important that you don't run forward without checking what you have in the back. And leave it at that. All right, da-da-da. Ooh, is that last one? Okay, almost. You know what? This is just summary. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the operational discipline of Deliveroo to the pilots of Blipar. And if you take nothing else away, remember these 5 things. Now, normally I like the power of 3, but I talk way too much about way too many things. So I'm just going to make it 5. Try. Stop selling cool. Curiosity is high, but budgets are tight. It's a must-have, not the nice-to-have. If you don't find one person whose bonus depends on your tool, you're just a line item waiting to be taken away when budget is tight. Narrow your focus until it hurts. It is better to be the solution for 10 companies in London than a solution for 1,000 companies in the UK. All right, don't scale a mess. Growth does not fix a broken go-to-market. It just makes the explosion louder. Don't be as loud. And listen to the no. Don't fear failure. Learn from the no's. Learn from the don'ts. Every no is a free piece of data for your understanding and your knowledge and your intelligence to grow and your next experiment. And you are the first salesperson. You're the founder. You need to build the machine, not just the product. So, final sprint of today is, are you ready to scale go-to-market? What is the first thing you will change about your go-to-market pitch based on today's session? Anyone at all learned anything? Louder, Paul.
I mean, I can play back what my iteration has been in the session, if you like. I'm quite happy for you to rip it apart. So, we help people make smarter grocery choices without changing their lifestyle. Same habits, smarter choices.
Smarter how? I'm going back to that. Smarter, is it going to help my bank account? Smart is going to help my calorie account? All of it?
You're asking for a metric there, or a number?
Yeah, I want the outcome to be specific because smarter might be different for different people. All right, back to the drawing board. Yeah. Yes. Marge? Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The first thing I'm going to do is maybe change the vertical I'm focusing on.
Love that.
Because I was focused on B2B tech companies because that's my background, but my first customer is actually in a different vertical, coincidentally. But that is a use case and a case study I can use. So maybe just look around in that vertical bit.
Fantastic. And you might also use, I love the 80-20, I put it into everything. So it might be that, your first customer is from a different vertical, not one maybe that you would have your network, but start with that. And that might be much more powerful to then share, but you can still, in the meantime, work on your network in your previous the previous vertical that you were an expert in. Yeah. Definitely. Anyone else? No. All right, give me one last good one for the video. Guys, work with me. Imagine one person actually listening to this until the end. All right. All right, all of you. Yes. All right, fantastic. Did I write that? Good on me. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, come back to us in 90 days. All right, yes.
The importance of ICP, defining ICP, and the focusing on outcome, not selling AI, but what it does, what it helps you.
Wonderful. Focus, absolutely. Anyone else? Yes?
Markets think in verticals. I mean, that's great.
Like that. Oh, I should maybe do like a last thing of like all the, main sound bites.
I think if you go to ICP, like we're targeting the SMB sector, that's too broad.
Yes.
So focus on 3 or 4 verticals.
No.
Maybe even 1.
Yes.
In fact, just 1.
Correct.
To validate your positioning and then expand from there. Because otherwise you're just blasting your message out to the world for...
Exactly, because imagine how many messages you're going to have to put out there. I mean, right now we have potentially 1 message, 2 outcomes, 3 personas across 1 vertical. You put it on LinkedIn, it's just got noise. It's going to be, I mean, because then if you have 2 verticals, that's 6, potentially 12 messages. They won't know what you are, who you are.
But again, not to halt the conversation, but
No.
the dilemma, if the founder's aiming too high, like I want to be the next, I don't know, Google.
Fantastic, that's the vision.
Guy trying to
Yes.
drive them towards that focus, that gets you the critique of you're not thinking big enough. So, that's the tension to resolve.
No, it's about how you get it done, right? You need to have the visionary. I execute, I have no vision. Don't tell my children. So you need to have, I think if you have like startups that has, let's say, 2 or 3 founders, one is going to have the big vision, the nutty professor, and then you have the second one who's going to be the business on how do we actually get this done. You need to have both, otherwise it's not going to happen, unless you are both, which means you're amazing. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful experiment for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I see some smiles, so to the camera, they are smiling and nodding. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Join us, and please eat the rest of the food there.